Welcome back, everyone. Part 3 and the finale of the tow behind backhoe build. After 2 years since part 2, we're finally going to finish this. Actually, not long after part 2, the Quaker backhoe tow behind backhoe build has been done and operational. We ran into some issues. We got her sitting behind my Yanmar YM 155. And we're gonna do some work. We're gonna be digging out these rocks over here in preparation for 2022 Top Tractor Challenge. It's a KB60 Quaker backhoe that what I did is I made this framework. Go check out part 1 and 2. But I made this framework so that way I can unbolt this backhoe attachment. This is actually a 3-point hitch backhoe attachment. And so I can attach all of the 3-point hitch stuff back to it if need be. Been having all sorts of issues with this motor trying to finish this video in the last couple months, between dead batteries and having to walk back to the garage and back, and finally finding out that the starter gear was bad on here. It was non-existent, and that's why it was not cranking over. But other than that, after part 2, it was not running at the time. I got it running. It was running really terribly. I ended up taking apart the engine. I have clips of this stuff, but I can't remember if I still have them or not. I'll try and find them. But the engine was not running good. I had tore off the head, and it's not looking too healthy in there. But it is running, and it is running well enough that I've been using this for the last 2 years. Also, whenever I initially hooked this up, I found a schematic, or I have the manual for this, and I got confused on which way this valve body was sitting versus the drawing. So what ended up happening is I hooked up the inlet and the feed line opposite. So I was putting in pressure backwards. So whenever I was trying to operate this in the garage, testing it out, it was just choking, like trying to kill the motor. And what ended up happening is right in between these two valve bodies, I blew a O-ring, and it just poured oil everywhere. Luckily, I was able to get a new O-ring. I took this apart, put new O-rings in, and thankfully, because of my quick disconnects, I was able just to swap the two ends and flip the lines, and ever since then, this thing has been working good. So like I said, we're going to go ahead and dig out these rocks. We're going to dig out the rocks and take them over into our rock crawl section for the Top Tractor Challenge 2022. If you guys are interested in stuff like this, maybe check out some of my other videos like the Top Tractor Challenge. We take riding lawnmowers and highly modify them and do off-road competition to see who has the top tractor. But last time you guys seen this, it was just had wires everywhere and we were attempting to start it. And this is what I ended up doing with the switch panel. I do want to do like a dual throttle setup still, so that way I can shut it off and monkey with the throttle up there. So maybe I might just take this, because realistically, you're starting it here, you can really just stand to the side and start it up here. So I'm thinking about still moving the controls up there, but we'll start it up for you. This is kind of how I did the switch panel, but obviously if I move it up there, we're not going to need that anymore. Hydraulic tank has been holding oil for 2 years now. Welded this up good and solid, so that's good. But we'll get it started for you. I do have an actual battery strap for this, but it wasn't made for this type of lawnmower battery. It was made for one with the post offset a little bit more. So that's why I got this ghetto situation going on here. But we'll get it started and we'll set you up over there and show you us digging the rocks out. Alrighty, so you see how big that rock is. I'm a little bit rusty. I'm not an equipment operator, so you can kiss my ass on how I'm operating this thing. But that boulder, this is a size 10.5 shoe. That's I don't know, I think that's a 12-inch bucket or whatever width-wise. So that big boulder was stuffed right there, and the little hoe pulled her out there. And unfortunately I don't have it on video, but this whole entire mud pit, which is about 6 feet wide, and I don't know, $70 feet long and maybe 3 feet deep, was all dug with the hoe alone. So I started out over here and just dug my way all the way around. I kept on pushing the hoe in from on this side, so that's why there's a mound of dirt all the way around the mud bog right here. And but yeah, this whole entire hole was dug by that. Back by the tank trap back there, we have a bunch of holes that I have dug with the backhoe. Actually, TTC 2021, no, 2020, we had some septic issues during the event, and I actually dug up the whole entire yard to find out that our septic tank was not hooked up for 7 years, and they plumbed it directly into the leach field. And so I used the backhoe and dug up the yard during the competition. So that's the conclusion on the homemade tow behind backhoe. It took me 2 years to finish this series, but it's finished now. So ever since that last video, the tow behind backhoe has been up and running and working and doing work sporadically for the last 2 years. If I could do it over again, the rear axle where I have it, I would have moved it back about another 2 inches. I'm getting real close into the outriggers, so I was going to go to a 25-inch tall tire, and I did not. There's 23-inch tall tires on it at the moment. I would have moved that axle back a little bit more just to get even more leverage on the front. And I was also using material that was free or next to nothing, so I didn't go out and buy new tubing, or else I would have actually made my tongue length a little bit longer, so that way I could get the weight a little bit further forward. But other than that, it works great. It's not a massive excavator, but it does do the job. We've dug ditches through the yard up there. I've done plenty of mud holes and other sorts of stuff, dug out rocks to build some obstacles. But other than that, I'm happy. If I was to go ahead and upgrade the tires to highway tires, I would feel safe towing it down the road 40 miles an hour. Wouldn't take it down the highway or nothing like that. But just around town, I wouldn't feel bad towing it about 20-25 miles an hour down the road. But other than that, keep an eye out on the channel. We're probably going to end up doing an update on the backhoe in the future, probably 2 years down the road again. But if I end up having a chance to do anything super cool with it, I'll definitely be putting some footage out there of me using it. Also, Top Tractor Challenge 2022 is coming up here at the end of July, and I'm going to be releasing a video of me using my Yanmar front loader and the backhoe building and making obstacles. So if you have any interest in watching that video, stick around and check it out. But until next time, I hope each and every one of you has a wonderful day.